Diamond Ambassador Emily Gibson here, and I wanted to teach you what I do when I pass out a sample. So I always have samples in my purse. I keep a little bag that I got at convention, a small envelope, purse, clutch thing inside of my bag, and it has my business cards and between 10 to 12 sticks of Slim at all times. I also usually keep a bottle of Edge and a bottle of Block in my purse so that if I'm ever out to lunch with my friends, I can pull out my Block, or if someone is looking for a really quick pick-me-up and they say that they drink a lot of energy drinks, I'll typically give them one Edge and take their name and phone number down and follow up with them later. So when I am going to give out a sample and I'm out in public, or maybe it's to a friend or family member, I always do the same thing. Number one, if we're not friends on Facebook, I try to friend them on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is on social media. And then I have them write down their phone number on my business card, and I put my business card into my purse. And you can watch my video on how to keep your business cards out of the trash for more details on that. But I get some sort of contact information from them. And then 3 to 4 hours later, when I get home, I will send them a message, whether it's through text or Facebook Messenger or on Instagram Messenger, and I will say, hey, was so nice meeting you today, if it's a stranger. Or if it's someone that I know, I'll say, oh, I loved running into you today. I'll typically try to add something personal into it. For example, I really enjoyed how we talked about how excited we are for our kids to go back to kindergarten, or whatever it may be, go to school, maybe have a new kindergartner, whatever it is. I always try to put something personal that we connected on in our conversation, if I can. And then I'm going to send them that message, and I'm going to say, how did you like the taste of the pink drink? That's the best way to follow up with the pink drink, is how did they like the taste? Everybody has an opinion on that, and it doesn't mean that it is working for them or not. It's just an opinion on what did you think of the taste. Then they respond and say, oh, I loved it, or maybe they didn't like it. Either way, they're going to tell you, and then you're going to respond. Now I switch over to voice message. When I follow up, I always send a written text or message, and then when I get their response for how they liked the taste of it or whatever it may be, that's when I go into voice messages. And I will say, oh, I'm so glad you loved it. I really liked it too. Even my kids think it tastes good. And the reason why it tastes that way is because it is flavored with stevia. I love that there's no sugar. It also, the main ingredient is chromium. Chromium controls insulin. Insulin is the body's master hormone. And I go into the description of the Slim, and you can watch my Slim video if you want to increase your product knowledge on the Slim on my YouTube channel as well. So I go into that a little bit. I typically leave 3 or 4 voice messages in 1-minute increments, and after I go over the Slim, I tell them about how the ProBio 5 and the Bio Cleanse help to pair with it perfectly, and how the X Factor is a great add-in just for good supplementation and helping everything to absorb faster. And then the conversation naturally goes back and forth at that point. After I leave those messages, I will say, did those messages come through okay? And then they will respond, yeah, they came through great. And usually they'll say something like, I'm really interested in all these other products now. Or they might say, I'm really only interested in the Slim. And at that point, I would be sponsoring them as a customer with a bag of the pink drink. They're going to be able to try it. They're going to love it. But if they're looking for something more, this might be an opportunity to talk about how when I started Plexus, I realized that so many people around me were feeling like crap, and I wanted to share with others. So there's an opportunity sometimes to talk about how we can share these products with others, and how naturally that might be able to pay for their products in the future. So I always like to educate on how the products are going to help them, the one that they just tasted, and how the other ones that I started with also key into it. And then the conversation goes from there. I add them to my follow-up list. Either they order or I'm following up with them. I'm relationship developing with them if they are a stranger that I had just met at the post office or the grocery store or wherever. But that is typically how I follow up with a sample. So I hope that's helpful to you, and I hope that you'll be able to pass out more samples in confidence and be a great resource for follow up for you. Have a great day.